Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today, we're going to go ahead and continue our hypothesis testing, right? But this time, we're going to go ahead and continue with section 8.4, z-test for a proportion, all right? So right here on the right-hand side, I have my formula for proportion z-testing, all right? Right, we were already introduced to this in, what was it, chapter 7, all right? In chapter 7, dealing with proportions and percentages, all right? So let's go ahead and continue, all right? So with these, the first thing you're going to want to go ahead and find is going to be your p hat, all right? Where your p hat is equal to an x value over your sample size, all right? And so let's go ahead and find that, all right? In our question here, right? So it says 42% believe that there is life on other planets in the universe, all right? That's very important. A scientist does not agree with this finding. He surveyed 100 randomly selected individuals, right? So let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to have my x value, all right? I also have my, where is it at? My, all right, I'm going to have my p hat value. P hat value, my p value, my proportion, and then my q, and I'll go ahead and do alpha as well. All right. So my x value, right? So I know that 100 randomly selected individual, that's my sample size, and I found that 52 believers, right? So that's what I'll be go ahead and comparing that to. So my p hat would be what? 52 over 100, right? What do you think that's going to give you? 52. The proportion, all right, that is the percentage that was given to me, right? That's going to be 42%, but we said we don't like dealing with percentages, right? We're going to go ahead and use 0.42, and this is very important, all right? Especially when we're going to be using our hypothesis testing for part A. Q is just 1 minus P, which is 1 minus 0.42, right? Which is going to give me 0.58. The alpha I'm using is 0.10, all right? So we're about to determine, is it going to be a one or two tell test, right? So let's go ahead and start with A, right? 42% of people believe that there is life on other planets. Scientists believe so. Is there enough to conclude that percentage differs from 52, right? So in other words, this is not 42, right? So my alternate would be mu, all right? Actually, it's not mu. We're not dealing with mu now, right? We're dealing with proportion. So P, right, does not equal 0.42. Do not use 42%, please. Right? Do not use 42%, meaning no hypothesis. We're dealing with proportion. That is 0.42. Right? And from our previous section, right, we said if it's not, right, if your alternate is not, then it is a two-tailed test. It is a two-tailed test, all right? Very nice. Okay, we're going to go ahead and find our critical values, right, for a two-tailed test, right? Whenever, and we had said whenever we're dealing with these, all right, whenever we're dealing with this z-test, all right, we are going to do 1 minus alpha over 2, right? We're going to do 1 minus alpha over 2, which is 1 minus 0.10 over 2, which is 1 minus 0.05, which is this point. Is that at? 0.9500. And just like before, right, you're going to go ahead and get your z table, all right, table E, right, and you're going to go ahead and find 0.9500 in there, right, 0.9500. You'd find out that not only it's not exactly in between these both, but it is closer to the one on the left. All right, so your z crit, all right, your z value is going to be 1.65. Right, 1.65. Leave that there. All right, so your z crit is 1.65. All right, and it's going to be plus or minus because we're dealing with a two-tailed test. Again, right, I need you to go ahead and draw this for the exam. Just like before, right? you're going to do 1.65, negative 1.65 is there. All right. Go ahead and call this Z crit. Z crit. Right. Meaning this here is your Z observed, right? And that's what I call it, right? I refer to it as my observed and my critical value. It's a method that helps me retain it. But if you want to keep using the Z test, right, test value, go ahead, right? Whatever helps you the most, right? Whatever helps you get whatever helps you get the grade you want, all right? So my Z observed, right? What I'll be observing, all right, would be P hat minus P over the square root of P times Q over N. All right, there's a lot going on there. And my P hat was 0.52 minus 0.42 all over the square root of 0.42 times 0.58 over my sample size, right? What was my sample size? 100, right? 100. Let's go ahead and plug all that in. And like we mentioned before, right? Parentheses, right? I cannot stress this enough. It's parentheses. Doing all that work, I find out that my Z value is 2.03. So that's my Z observed. Z observed, right? You're going to, the scientist or the mathematician are going to go ahead and make an observation, right? Is 2.03 inside the critical region? It is, right? It is. Yes, right, in region. So reject no hypotheses, meaning you're going to answer yes to the question. And so you say, yes, there is sufficient evidence to conclude that the percentage differs from 42%. All right. Very, very nice. Very, very, very nice. Okay. All right. And E is what I'm verbally saying. All right. Verbally saying. Let's go to the next one. All right. Approximately 73% of the US population recycles. Okay. All right. According to a green survey of random sample of individuals, right? Oh, wow. Individuals. Let me go ahead. According to a random survey of a random sample of 250, right? The college students, 187 said they're recycled, right? So that X is going to be my focus. At alpha equals 0.05. Is there sufficient evidence to conclude that the proportion of college students who recycles is greater? It's greater than 73, right? That proportion there would be 73% or 0.73, meaning my Q is 1 minus P, right? Which would give me what? 27? Right, 27, yes. Right, oh, let's go ahead and find P hat, right? P hat was my focus or my total sample size, which would give me a value bounded between 0 and 1, right? 187, 250, right? What do we get? 0.748. Right. Let's go ahead and start with to state my hypotheses, my alternate, right? I saw it somewhere, right? Is there sufficient evidence to conclude that the proportion of college students who are recycled is greater than that, right? So yes, all right, so yes. It's going to be my proportion greater than 3. Hypotheses must be 0.73 to the right, so I know I'm going to be dealing with a one-till test specifically to the right, right? Let's go ahead and find my critical values, all right? Let's go ahead and find those critical values. Z crit. I'm dealing with my Z crit. It's only a one-till test, all right? It is only a one-toe test. Go ahead and put this to the side. Right, so whenever it's a one-toe test, it is just 1 minus alpha, right? Which gives me, what was my alpha? So 1 minus 0.05, which is just 0.95. And I'm going to work backwards, right? This is the area you're looking for in the graph. And just, right, it's very similar to the previous one, right? I'm focused on those two. It's closer to this one. So the Z value I'm looking for is 1.65, right? 1.65. Plus or minus? Is it plus or minus? It's plus, right? Because it's to the right. If it was to the left, right? If it was the left endpoint, it'll be negative, all right? It'll be negative. So nice. Right. So this here would be 1.65. And that here would be 1.65. Let's go ahead and find observed, right? Which is p hat minus p over the square root of p times q over n, which is 3 all over the square root of 7 all over 250, right? Go ahead and plug that in, and I get 0.64, right? 0.64. Ah, the observed value is not within the z-crit region, right? It's somewhere there, all right? It's outside the region. So no. No hypotheses, right? So in other words, is there sufficient evidence to conclude? You would answer no to the question, right? So no, there is not sufficient evidence to conclude that the proportion of college students who recycle is greater than 73%, all right? Something like this is what you would need to show, right, for your, all these steps is what you would be required to show for your exam, all right? So that is all I have for you all today. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.